I made for a great video.
Sounds like
That's nasty.
So I hope you guys like the Kool-Aid videos because I do go through a little bit the last couple times I've done it because it's like, dude, you can't chug that fat. At least I can't. I'm gonna try to this week.
Have you ever seen Beer Fest?
Yes.
Das
Get
Boot?
The boot. Yeah, you have to like turn it.
Yeah.
You have to get the bubble correct. Yeah. Great movie, by the way. I might watch that tonight.
Classic.
I'm still going through Blue Mountain State, so I can't do that tonight. I've got plans already.
Wings are looking sloppy. Who said that? That was Colton's cardboard. 3-0. 10 minutes ago in the second.
Brutal.
New York Rangers are up. Shout out Jacob Trouba. WoodwardSports client also, like Aidan Hutchinson and Ali McNeil and Jack Fox, Josh Dobbs.
Do they sign media people?
Pardon?
Do they sign media people? Can they be
As the emergency goalie.
No, I'm saying can Vayner sign me as their agency?
Oh.
I need an agent.
Maybe check out the careers section on their website.
Okay, I'll do that. I need an agent. Unless you want to be my agent.
I'd love to.
Okay, locked in. All right, let's talk about it. Aidan Hutchinson, expectations. Right now, at the moment, he has 4.5 sacks. He has done a few things, obviously the interceptions, fumble recoveries, forced fumbles, all of that. He has made plays. He has made an impact. That is not a question at all. I don't think we're going to sit up here and Broder, I'm not going to speak for you, but I have a feeling that you're not going to sit up here and say Hutch has not performed to the level that he has been playing very, very well. The only thing he hasn't really done is kind of finish and get the sacks, which that isn't the end-all, be-all. And I have a few questions for you. The first thing I want to throw out this. Right now, this is all per PFF. He currently is the 7th best edge rusher with the 90.0 edge rushing grade.
So I'll let you keep going, but that's impressive AF to me. Continue.
It is 7th in the NFL, 3rd in the NFL in pressures currently with 46. The only two players he is behind right now, Broder, is Max Crosby and Micah Parsons. Only two guys, and obviously he has 4.5 sacks, which puts him very, very far back from some guys, and those guys are at 10. So to me, and I'll start us off with this because it's like, all right, how many can he finish with? I obviously gave out the prediction. When I look back at it now, I'm like, okay, 15 might have been a little bit of a stretch.
It wasn't outrageous for you to say, though, before the season.
Okay. I want to make sure. It felt like, looking back, I'm like 4.5 halfway through the year. And on track for 9. 15 is a lot.
And, bro, not to predict this isn't a Broder guarantee, but with the schedule coming up, he could run off 2-3 in a couple games. Khalil Mack had 6 in a game.
So that's where my mindset was going to go with the second half is you have the longer half now, the 9 game stretch is coming up, not the 8. You played 8. These teams, a lot of these guys that are sitting here with 10 sacks, like a TJ Watt, I don't have the full list, but there's about 5 or 6 guys at 10. Those guys, some of them already have played their 9th game. Mm-hmm. So Aidan Hutchinson, he could easily go off for 10 in the second half of the year.
Yeah, without a doubt.
He is leading the league, or 3rd in the league in pressures. He can go out there and get 10 and still get 14.5, 15 sacks. I'm not leaving that off the table.
Yeah.
But what I want to ask you, and I'll tell you my prediction here.
Please.
Do you have a new sack total? I know the sack is an end-all be-all, but that's like the number people want to look at. Do you have a new total that you like that you want to throw out there?
We're just talking about sacks so much. I don't know if I have a total. I don't know. See, it's hard. And John Scott Jr., the defensive line coach for the Lions, was talking about this today. It's hard to really. You can't just grade Aidan Hutchinson on sack numbers. Like if you actually watch the film, Aidan Hutchinson is being double or triple teamed almost every time. He's actually making a difference on the defense. I'm not saying he's played perfect for this first stretch. There's some things he needs to clean up and get better at. But when I look at the rush defense is what, top 2, top 3 in the league. Yep. Like the defense in general is improved. Yes, it could even get better, but he's doing things that I believe are opening things up for his teammates. I just don't think his teammates have taken advantage of it. If he had a little help, I don't know if he would have 5 or 6 more sacks, but he might have 2 or 3. So the fact that he's this well-rounded, and it's not just the interception stats and the forced fumble, but when you talk about pressures, when you talked about PFF rankings, like whatever rankings it is, he's near the top of all of them. And to say that while having what we feel like is a down year with only a few sacks, that to me is I'm optimistic about that going into the second half, not just because of their schedule, but if they are getting healthy, if they are continuing to develop, whether James Houston comes back or not, if these guys are getting better, that bodes well for Aidan Hutchinson, wherever he's coming off the edge or on the inside. You just need these other guys to step up too.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly well said.
Thank you.
And I think the line coach, forgetting his name here.
John Scott Jr.
John Scott Jr.
from Penn State.
That point he makes there, it's, hey, Hutch is doing stuff. The sacks totals don't really matter. And I know that's a conversation we all have had preseason. And that's really, Broder, that's like even like Defensive Player of the Year. When they look at these guys, that they look at that.
Yeah.
So that is a thing. But when it comes to actually as a team, you're not going to sit there and be like, oh, Hutch has 4.5 sacks. He hasn't done anything this year. And there are some people, wild people, who will sit up here and say that like if he doesn't get sacks, he's having a bad year.
Yeah, it's not the case.
Because I still think he's having a better season than Kayvon Thibodeau, and Kayvon Thibodeau has 8.5 sacks.
And he's Aidan Hutchinson having by far a better season. Yeah. Sacks are what get you paid, though. Sacks are what make the headlines. So there is
Sack
something
gets you
to that.
Player of the Year.
Yeah, yes, that too. And we're about to talk about that. But that doesn't. Not having sacks doesn't mean you're playing poorly.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, that I mean,
he makes such a think about the deflections he has. Think about like these pressures. He's third in the league in pressures. I know people are tired of hearing about pressures, but like you're putting pressure on the quarter. You're disrupting the game. The quarterback is having to change his game because of you, and you're doing that the most times in the NFL than anyone around the NFL. That is a big stat. Don't let people tell you that that's not a good stat. That is a stat, and that's something good. Because if they were going to sit there and tell you that sacks are a good one, that's a good one too, because they're disrupting the play.
Yes.
And that's how I look at it.
In multiple games where he hasn't had a sack, the Lions also haven't had a sack. Outside of this last game against the Raiders, I believe it was, where he had 0, but they had 5 or 6. Until then, when he didn't have sacks, the other team or his other teammates were getting sacks, and that's what can't happen. Because he's still, like you said, he's at the top of the league in pressures. He's still getting there, and if he's taking on 2 or 3, let's just say if he's taking on 2 blockers, that means his teammates aren't winning their one-on-one matchups. They aren't running their tricks, their stunts. They aren't running their stunts correctly, or they aren't running it quick enough. If he's taking on 2, these other guys got to win their one-on-ones. And not to call it, Charles Harris hasn't done that yet. Levi Odzarika hasn't done that. Josh Pascal, Ali McNeil wasn't doing that much in the beginning of the season. He started to pick it up a little bit. But again, his role isn't just to go get the quarterback. He's trying to set a wall for that run game, for that defensive line.
Do you know who's doing it more often than the other edge rushers? Is the linebackers and the defensive tackles.
You're right.
Those are the guys that are there. Like when Hutch is getting the pressure on, Alim McNeil is the one that has 4 sacks as well, and he's right there when Hutch gets pressure. When Hutch gets pressure, Alex Anzalone is coming around the other side, and he's hitting the quarterback. Same with the safeties. Tracy Walker has a sack this year. These guys have that because Hutch is putting that pressure on and making a move, and those guys are getting that. The other edge rushers, time to step up.
And this
like
is
if
why
you guys want to do something this year, you have to step up and you have to make plays.
Yes.
That is a done fact. Like the Detroit Lions won't go to the NFC Championship, won't have a chance at a Super Bowl if these guys do not step up. They will not, because you're going to get in the game versus the Eagles, and Jalen Hurts will cut you up. That's exactly what will happen.
100%. And this is why there was so much interest in the Chase Young or Montez Sweat, or just going out and making a move at the deadline because of this. Because now the Lions are relying on these players to step up. The good thing is they believe in these guys. They didn't make a move because they expect this to happen. They expect John Scott Jr. to develop this line so that both with the guys coming back healthy and just the development of guys like Roderick Martin and Benito Jones. Like,
damn,
that's what they're relying on. 4-0 Rangers.
5-0. That's
5?
5, yeah. Can we throw up real quick, Jalen? Can you throw up the Defensive Player of the Year odds real quick? Because I do want to let this be like show real quick. Because in next segment, this is going to kind of lead into next segment. We're going to talk about mid-season awards. But this right here, if you want to talk about how Hutch isn't in the conversation anymore with these high-end DNs and these high-end players, right now I would say there's tier 1, and we're basing this off the odds because the odds are pretty freaking close when it comes down to it. So let's say tier 1 edge rushers, right, Broder?
Yeah.
Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt. I don't know why Max Crosby. I told you before the show the difference here.
That's amazing.
I already placed a bet on Max Crosby today.
And
the fact he's 33-1 right now and he probably is the leader of this award is nuts.
Can you explain why there's so much of a gap between TJ Watt and Max Crosby?
I promise you I have no clue.
I think he's in that
He's
group.
leading the league. He has 10 sacks just like those guys. I could not tell you.
I mean,
maybe it's because their team hasn't been winning. That's the only thing I could think of.
The Raiders are 4-5, right?
Yeah,
like
4, yes.
They didn't play very good against the Lions. I don't think they're a good team, but they're 4-5, so they've won a couple games, and Pierce is now as their coach. Like, who knows what their season could end up like.
I bet it.
If I were a betting man, that looks good to me. 33, whatever.
His last game was crazy too. Like
3 sacks.
His last game was insane.
Yeah,
and he said it too. He was like, come watch, and he literally teed off.
I would put a Randy Johnson on Max Crosby winning that for
10?
Sure. Yeah, a big unit for sure.
Is that 10? Randy Johnson at 10?
What is a big unit? 100?
I mean, it just depends. Yeah, a unit.
Just whatever.
For everyone.
I got it, Broder.
Yeah, just a big one.
Yeah, it's just a unit is your own unit. Everyone has a different unit.
Got you. So whatever your unit is, make it a Randy Johnson.
Bro, Jalen's giving me a thumbs down.
Oh, he was making like a nickname joke.
Oh.
Yeah, like that's his nickname.
I don't know what's going on.
Randy Johnson's nickname is the big unit.
Name.
Okay.
So he's like 6'11", throwing from the left side.
He killed a bird on TV before.
Southpaw.
Oh, that was him?
Yeah.
Played for the Tigers?
No,
he's on the Mariners,
The Tigers got to
Diamondbacks.
throw a bird?
the D-backs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did see that video, though. But the thing with this, before we go to break, though, just with this, and if you guys don't think Aidan Hutchinson is on that elite list or is at that level, I can guarantee you he is. There is that tier 1 of guys, and you saw it on this list. Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, and Max Crosby. Aidan Hutchinson's right under there with Daniil Hunter. Aidan Hutchinson.
I'd be okay if Aidan was that jump from Max Crosby to Aidan.
That's where I thought it originally was when I was going to pull it up. And when I saw that, I was like, I was shocked.
Because I love Aidan. I think he's very close to being in that tier. I probably put him just a niche below. Those top guys are they're something else.